I'm actually closer to Pigeon Forge than I am Mobile.
Oh yeah. Oh, so you're up there in the mountains, huh?
Yeah, I'm in North Alabama.
Okay. Alrighty. Man, I tripped out because of all the time changes. Like you'd go a couple miles and then
you,
go. You're
you know,
entering into this.
I can
Go ahead.
remember being on the truck one time, and we were like in South Florida. And by the
Yeah,
time nightfall came, well, like 3 o'clock in the morning, I was like in shorts in Florida, and then about 3 a.m. I was in Michigan in a coat.
that's wild. That is
I mean,
wild.
because of all the mountains and the time changes and all that. I mean,
Yeah. So this is actually some of the stuff that we're going to be listening to actually took place about 8 years ago. Like um, this today broadcast that I'm going to present first and foremost is about 8 years ago. So a lot of the stuff is dated, but doesn't make it irrelevant nonetheless. Correct?
absolutely, they're still dead.
Yeah. So this is, I guess, this is Katie Couric, right? Or one of them
Yes,
from.
I haven't seen her in forever.
Yeah, Katie Couric was very popular way back when. I enjoyed watching the news, with Katie. And let me situate us, Nina, where we are both on the panel.
Okay.
And that way, okay, there it is. There's one. There, we're both on the panel. Let me make us a little bigger, though. There we go. Y'all remember Katie Couric? So she's going to be talking about making a murderer here, and then we'll continue going on. To get to where we want to be, we got to go back, way back. Oh, that's not Katie? Okay. I don't know
No,
who that is
that's
then.
actually oh my gosh, what's her name? She was on in the mornings with Huda.
Okay. Well, let's
Isn't
see.
that who that is?
Let's see who it is.
Continues to fascinate. That Netflix series brought Stephen Avery's case worldwide attention, and now there's been some serious movement in the efforts to free the two men. If you remember, Avery had been wrongfully convicted of rape in 1985 and freed from prison, then later convicted of murdering a young photographer. Dateline has been following the story for more than a decade, and now one of the key figures in the case is speaking out for the first time.
Stephen Avery and his nephew, Brendan Dassey, are currently in prison in Wisconsin for the 2005 murder of a young photographer. Many viewers of Making a Murderer believe they are innocent. Now, they both may have new hope for freedom. In November, Avery's attorney, Kathleen Zellner, received access to the evidence to perform new forensic tests. In a statement, Zellner recently told Dateline, "We will be able to demonstrate exactly how the evidence was planted in the early part of the investigation." Avery, she insists, was framed for a crime he did not commit. Ken Kratz, who prosecuted the case, is pushing back with a new book, Avery.
Do you believe that there's any chance that Stephen Avery will walk free someday?
I don't. I think that the case against Stephen Avery is and was presented very, very well.
Tonight, co-lead investigator Tom Fassbender speaks to Dateline in his first television interview.
Stephen Avery says these guys had it out for me. This was the perfect opportunity for them to have access to my trailer, plant the key.
I never absolutely saw that. Never saw that from anyone in Manitowoc County. Yeah, I could.
Well, let me ask you, Nina, do you believe he was innocent or do you believe he was guilty?
I think he's guilty on all accounts.
Yeah?
Now,
See,
I think the lawsuit had a lot to do with it.
I don't. I believe that he was innocent based on what the Netflix series presented. And it's bothered me because there's so much that came out that contradicts the Netflix series. I believe his nephew is innocent. I believe his nephew had nothing to do with this case. Do you
Then who
believe him?
did?
Then who killed her?
Yeah.
I believe that his other nephew and somebody else killed her because
Really?
they were supposedly spotted down the block. The other nephew, I can't remember what his name was, but he was following Teresa as somebody was going out fishing with somebody else, and they saw him following her out.
Now, this is
So
the girl that took pictures for the car magazine, for the Trader
yeah,
magazine, right?
yeah, Auto Trader, yeah.
Okay.
So I believe that the other nephew probably had something to do with it, not this one. This
Right.
one was, I mean, based on if we could show making a murder on here, people would really be like, "Oh, hell no! There's no way he should be, in prison." The other nephew was slow. Like they interrogated him without his mom there. They interrogated him without. They were fishing. They
Yeah,
were telling
I
him.
remember all that. They
They
were
were
pretty
telling.
cruel to him too.
Yes, they were like, okay, you know what happened. So, they were saying, so how'd y'all shoot her? Where'd you shoot her? And they were saying, and then he was kind of adding along. And when the Netflix series were talking about it, there was no collaborating evidence to what he was saying. You get what I'm saying? So, um, how about you guys, Chad? Do you believe that Stephen Avery is innocent or guilty? And how about his nephew, Brendan Dassey? Do you believe that Brendan is innocent or guilty? Have y'all actually ever seen the Netflix series Making a Murderer? Hey, Walt.
Hey, Walt.
So let's continue and see what this guy's talking about. Then I'll rehash the case for the chat for those of them that haven't seen it, and then we'll watch some more video.
Go on and on about the planting defense and how absurd it is.
Fassbender and his partner have been accused of extracting a false confession from Avery's teenage nephew, accused of feeding him information about the crime.
All right, I'm just going to come up and ask you, who shot her in the head?
He did.
Why didn't you tell us that?
So I couldn't think of it.
Dassey's attorney, Laura Nyrider.
Those officers wanted that information.
Did you see how they did that? So
See,
who
this
shot her?
yeah, see, he's always reminded me of how they did Chris Tapp with the Angie Dodge.
I don't know that case.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that case. But did you see how he just asked them? So who shot her in the head?
Right. See, that's how they did Chris Tapp, but they gave him information and he just sort of kind of went along with it.
Okay. Okay. So let's see what they got to say.
The worst way, and they got it in the worst way by feeding it straight to Brendan Dassey.
What do you say to those people who were yelling at their TVs because they didn't like the job that you did?
Just that it's easy to armchair quarterback. We didn't try to manipulate Brendan. We tried to get at the truth. And I don't believe that it was a false confession. Are there parts of it that he may have not done? I don't know. I just don't know.
Last August, a federal judge ruled that Dassey's confession was involuntary and overturned his conviction. His release from prison is pending an appeal by the state, which was argued in federal court this week.
A decision in Brendan Dassey's case is expected in the next several months, and Avery's attorney, Kathleen Zellner, says she hopes to have her new test results within weeks. And I've been really back and forth, and I have to tell you, there's one detail you're going to hear tonight that changed the way I felt about this case entirely.
Wow.
It was
There's
like
a-
the tease,
there's a
shocking,
good
surprising.
tease.
I'm serious.
All right, let's just tell people you can see much more tonight on Dateline at 10/9 Central Time.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel.
So let's see if we can actually find that. Okay, this guy's never did anything bad or strike me, so maybe we can show his. Nina, you still here?
Yeah, I wonder if you get struck if I get struck too.
If what?
I wonder if you get struck if I get struck too.
No, no. It just meant. It just meant. Well,
I'm joking.
I'm not monetized, so
Oh, are you
what
not?
am I get? No, I lost my monetization.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I lost mine too.
So I'm just I'm just living the dream. I'm living the dream.
Look at
It's
us,
act,
two
it's
unmonetized
a,
people.
it's actually a lot freer than having the freaking monetized because it's like I will show that here in a minute, but that's not the one I meant to show. Like I was saying, you got to worry about every little thing you show, every little thing that could offend somebody, go against the community, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just a pain in the rear.
Honey, they got me for a 16-second video.
That's wild. That is wild. So let's go back and let's talk about the Stephen Avery case, and then I'll show you the video portion, and then we'll continue to talk about it because this is a big, long case. It's something that happened. I won't spoil it for anybody who's never seen this. So let's go ahead and discuss this. Can you see that, Nina?
Yes.
Okay. It says early life and first legal troubles. You want to read that?
Oh no, I didn't say I could see it that good.
All right, I'll read it. It says early life and first legal troubles. It says Avery grew up in Manitowoc County, Wisconsin, and his family owned a salvage yard and two rivers. He reportedly had an IQ of 70 and he dropped out of high school. In 1981, he was convicted of burglarizing a bar and later served 10 months in jail. The following year, he pled guilty to animal cruelty after he poured gasoline on a cat and tossed it into a bonfire. He was sentenced to 9 months. In 1985, he again ran afoul of the law when he forced a car driven by Sandra Morris, a cousin who was the wife of a sheriff deputy, off the road and pointed a gun at her. Avery claimed that he wanted her to stop spreading rumors about him. In 1984, she filed a complaint alleging that he had exposed himself on several occasions. He received a 6-year sentence for the car incident, but was granted bail. So it would.
He should have 6 years for the cat.
So if we're looking at this individual based in 225 and 220 or 2025, what am I saying? 2025. All this would that I mean, obviously they looked at all this when they were doing the sentencing correctly. Um, so what do you think about this past level of crime that they
See,
spoke
to
on?
me, the cat has a lot to do with it, though, because of the cruelty to the animals.
Okay.
Because that's behavior of behavior to come.
Right, right. Yeah. I mean, it's just interesting to me that they would that they would only give him that much time, cruelty to animals. But in 81, it wasn't looked at as strongly as it is now.
This is true. This is true.
So it says conviction in 1985 and later exoneration. On July 29, 1985, Penny Bernstein was raped on a beach near Two Rivers. She provided a description of the assailant, and police believed it resembled Avery. After Bernstein picked him out of a photo array, Avery was arrested. Although 16 people testified he was elsewhere at the time of the attack, a state forensic official claimed that a hair found on one of Avery's shirts was consistent with the other victim. In December 1985, Avery was convicted of the crime and sentenced to 32 years. However, some had doubt about his guilt, believing that Gregory A. Allen, an area man who strongly resembled Avery and was suspected in other sex crimes, might be the assailant. However, law enforcement officials never investigated Allen. So,
Well, too, though, consistent with and matching is so different.
yeah. So what do you think about that when the police doesn't investigate somebody else and kind of gets what the
Tunnel
word?
vision.
Yeah, tunnel vision regarding a suspect. I mean, that's what it sounds like in this, right? What do y'all think,
Yeah,
Chad?
and plus, too, I don't know if they could hold that stuff against him because it says he was exonerated.
Right, right. So they arrested him for this. Avery maintained his innocence, and in 2001, the Wisconsin Innocence Project became involved in his case. The following year, it granted a court order for DNA testing of a pubic hair found on the victim. In September 2003, a state lab asking newer technology matched the hair to Allen, who was then in prison for sexual assault. All charges against Avery were dropped, and he was released from prison. Soon thereafter, he filed a $36 million wrongful conviction lawsuit against the county, the district attorney, and the sheriff. During the legal proceedings, it was discovered that in 1995, detectives had learned that Allen, a prisoner in nearby Brown County, confessed to having committed a sexual assault in Manitowoc County for which someone else was convicted. Authorities, however, never pursued the claim. What do you think
After
about
$36 million, I would be afraid. Oh, no, that was, what's his name that filed it?
that? I mean, so he's out of jail now. He filed a lawsuit against the county, and happily ever after, right? Or
That
you
wrong.
would think. So you would think. Well, I mean, this just has the makings of everything that true crime loves. It has a villain, heroes, it has corruption, it has planting of evidence, it has everything. This is the case. If this was the storybook case for all the things that true crimers actually speak on, this would be the case. This would be the case right there that you would see under the big bold heading. So it says murder of Teresa Halbach and making a murderer. On October 31st, 2005, while the civil case was still ongoing, Teresa Halbach, a freelance photographer, drove to the Avery's auto salvage where Avery and other family members lived in order to photograph the van that he wanted to list in Auto Trader magazine. Avery claimed that he talked to her, but she left after taking the photographs. She was never seen alive again. On November 3rd, a missing persons report was filed and a search was undertaken to locate Halbach. 2 days later, her vehicle was found at the family's salvage yard. Over the following week, Halbach's car key was discovered in Avery's house, and blood, later determined to be his, was found in her car. In addition, human bones were recovered from a burn pit near Avery's home. They were soon determined to belong to Halbach. Additional evidence included a bullet found in Avery's garage that if Halbach's DNA, Avery was arrested, and while in jail, he settled his civil suit for $400,000. So out of that 36 million, he received $400,000.
His commissary is full.
No, all that money went to his lawyers, though.
That's
So
true.
he didn't get none of that money. You know,
Wow. He wasn't even a millionaire for a day.
no. So here's the rest of the story. It says in March 2006, Brendan Dassey, Avery's 16-year-old nephew, reportedly had an IQ of 73. So Stephen had 70. This kid had 3 points higher than Stephen. So what's that tell you? told police detectives that he and Avery had raped and murdered Halbach before burning her body. As on several subsequent occasions, Dassey was interviewed without legal representation or a parent. He later recanted, claiming that the confession was coerced.
I have a question.
However, Dassey was charged. Yes.
How the hell do you interview a minor without a parent and that low of an IQ?
I was thinking the same thing when I was watching the interview on Making a Murderer. I mean, you think, what the heck was
I
going
mean, that
on?
takes you back to sort of like West Memphis 3.
You know, the mom eventually came in there, but she wasn't there in the very beginnings. You know what I mean?
Right.
She wasn't there in the very beginning, but she eventually came in there. And as you saw the tape rolling, she's like, "What did you tell them?" And he
Wow.
says, "They were asking me all these questions," and she's like, "Well, did you do it? Did he do it? No, I don't know. I don't know." It was very uncertain based on his wording, you know. But he had already told the police that yeah, they shot her in the head. But there was, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but there's no blood in the room whatsoever. Avery maintained his innocence, accusing law officials of framing him in order to undermine the civil suit. Chief among the allegations was that evidence had been planted. Notably, his attorneys argued that the blood in Halbach's car had actually come from a sample Avery had provided during the 1985 case, though it was debated whether someone had tampered with the vial. In addition, it was noted that Halbach's car key had been found by two Manitowoc deputies who hadn't been required to testify in Avery's civil suit, although several earlier searches had been fruitless. They went through that house or that trailer, and they didn't find this car key. They didn't find this car key. This car key had like the, you know, where you snap it on a lanyard. It had the short part of the lanyard on the car key, and it was just one car key. And they had went through that whole thing, the whole room, never found the car key. They come back, these Manitowoc deputies. Oh, look, there's the car key right there by the dresser. I mean, you're watching this on Netflix and you're like, what the? Really? What do you think, Nina?
Oh, golly, I may have to change the way I thought about this case.
It
I
says,
mean, I guess when I knew about it, it was when, it was like, okay, he's guilty, they did it, before everything started coming out.
right, right. It says, after a 27-day trial, Avery was found guilty of murder and illegal possession of a firearm in March 2007. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Later that year, Dassey was also found guilty and given a life term, though he was eligible for parole in 2048. In 2015, Avery and Dassey drew international attention with the airing of Making a Murderer on Netflix. The 10-part series was made by Maura Damos and Laura, whatever her last name was, who first began working on the project in December 2005. While the program was an immediate hit with viewers, many of whom became amateur sleuths, a number of these involved in the case objected to how they were portrayed and claimed that the series omitted evidence that supported Avery's conviction. In 2016 of August, a federal judge overturned Dassey's conviction, ruling that the confession, the only evidence against him, was illegally obtained. An appellate court upheld the decision in September and gave authorities 90 days to either schedule a new trial or free him. Wisconsin authorities appealed to both to restore his conviction and to prevent the release of Dassey. In November, another court blocked the latter order. The case continued to make its way through the courts, reaching the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit in 2017. While a panel of the court ruled in his favor in June, the full court upheld his conviction 6 months later. In June 2018, the U.S. Supreme Court declined to hear Dassey's appeal. Later that year, the legal battles of Avery and Dassey were chronicled in Making a Murderer, Part 2. So, isn't that wild?
Yeah, I'm like Rondi now. I got to go back and research all this now. Thanks, Gage. Thanks, Gage.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I mean, this is on the Britannica website, so I just wanted to give people who have no real understanding of the case, since it was so far back, um, a little insight. And right here, I'm going to play a video by Bandage Crime documentary. I played their stuff before. They've never struck me. It's hopefully Bandage. I'm doing this for educational purposes only, and this is my opinion of commentary on your work that you have uploaded to YouTube. So, chat, before we go on, I want to talk to you a little bit. What do y'all think about what I read? Are y'all interested in this case again? I mean, I know it was a long time ago, but look at all that stuff in just that little amount of time that has happened. And there's so much going on behind the scenes that doesn't get mentioned. You know what I mean?
So I take it they're both still in prison.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
So can you imagine knowing that your case was overturned and you had 6 months to get out, or somebody to, file another trial, and then out of the blue they file another trial and then it's overturned again, and you still are like, what the can you imagine being that young kid? I mean, he's still young. He went to prison when he was 16. So 2007 to 2021, that would have been a while back,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Chloe she says, cool life experience. I once met Jerry Buting, and he wrote me a personalized note inside a copy of this book on this case. Cool. That's awesome. I mean, while I was watching this, Nina, I was going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This was my first true crime experience.
Oh,
Netflix
wow.
Netflix had me hooked. I binge watched this for days. And then the part two came out, and I was like, oh man. Once I watched part two, where he got a new lawyer, where they revamped the case and all this, they showed other areas that weren't shown in the first one. So you're like, okay, I'm still sticking to my um original thing. I believe he's innocent, and me
Do
saying
you
that,
believe, do you think both of them's innocent or just one?
I think they're both innocent. I think they were railroaded by the county. And you know how I felt about the Idaho case, and I stood on my ground with that. So for
Oh,
me
yeah.
to
You're
make a
not, you're not
mistake,
one of these. You're not one of these that just says everybody's innocent.
right? So, I could be wrong, but I'm strongly that these individuals are innocent. I mean, I believe they've been railroaded every step of the way.
Wow.
So, chat, we have some of y'all that believe he's guilty, and that's great. That's one of the reasons we enjoy you guys in here, is because we can agree to disagree, right? Chloe says, I think Avery is guilty, but I think his nephew is innocent. Okay.
I think
I'll-
even if the nephew is guilty, with him being a minor and having the IQ of 70, anything about him should have been thrown out, because to me that's illegal.
Well, I mean, I believe the nephew gave a false confession based on the police, you know, asking him those questions and all this and that. but I don't believe he gave enough information. The information he gave went against the evidence that they found in the trailer.
Yeah, I
So,
mean that's what I was saying about Chris Tabb with the Angie Dodge murders. That's exactly how they did him. Is they gave him just enough to agree to save his life because they were threatening him with death penalty and stuff like that. You
hmm
know, but I mean, even at that, this kid was a kid with that low of an IQ. No,
right.
they should be. No, that's not right.
But how often does that happen, Nina? How often
How
does that
often does
happen?
it happen, Gage?
It happens quite a bit, it really does.
I mean, that's what's sad.
Well, let's watch
But
the video.
that's also what feeds the fuel to some of the pro burgers. Is because some of them are not necessarily co-burger. It's more of the rights,
Yeah, you're
and
right.
because things are done crooked so much.
Here we go with the documentary type thing. Hold on a second. Let me share it with you guys. I'm watching it, but once again, I'm not sharing it. Tell me to get on point, Nina. Come on, Gage. Get it together.
Come on, Gage. It ain't been that long since I've been up here.
Come on, Gage. Get it together. Here we go. So, Nina, before I go on, I got to stop this. Um, if there's a guy and you're running on a beach, a trail, a road, and a guy comes out of nowhere, looks like this, would they be suspicious to you?
Turn around and go back to your husband.
Do what?
I mean, that's when you turn around and jog in the direction of your husband.
I mean, can you think about that, chat? You're jogging on the beach. Surely she wasn't jogging in her one piece, but you know, we don't know. Um, but you're jogging on the beach, and all of a sudden, this guy comes toward you, and he has a leather jacket, and he's dressed like he's not visiting the beach. He's just there for whatever reason. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with it, but that should just throw up that little alarm in you, right?
Oh yeah.
Especially being a woman. That's why I asked you because it wouldn't bother me. I mean, I'd be like, okay, what's up, bro? And here we
Oh
go.
well. Me and my warning label would be saying, "Dude, why you got a leather jacket?"
Right. And if you don't believe things like that happen really fast, that's how fast they can really happen. One moment you're jogging on the beach, the next moment you're fighting for your life not to be violated. What do you think, Nina?
I say play along and then bite it.
Man, I don't know. She kicked him in the groin, and that's
Nobody
when,
knows what they would do in that situation.
of course, they don't. They don't. That's why it's interesting to me that so many people have an opinion on, well, they should have done this or they should have done that. She could have done any of the things that people suggest and still wouldn't have been enough. She still got
She,
raped.
yeah, she could have not done anything. I mean, because with that being, a act of aggression and power and everything, they say if you just lay there and don't get anything out of it, that they'll stop. That ain't always true.
Right. I mean, so many people, I bet you this was in 1985. If social media would have been around and people would have started looking at this case, it would have been her fault. It would have been her husband's fault. Why didn't he go looking for her? I mean, in real life situation, do you really think that somebody's gonna hurt somebody as uh as they're going for a jog on the beach?
Well, I mean, the thing about it is like they've always got to blame somebody else. And I mean, some people they blame anybody but the perpetrator.
Right. They framed him, you know. God. Let's go on before we start on something that, you know. We always say, Nina, when police do their investigation, normally they're doing it to omit suspects rather than to find a suspect, correct?
Amen.
They're out to omit these people from being the perpetrator rather than trying to make them the perpetrator. Yeah, so I mean, they're looking for this guy early on. As far as forensic investigations, they didn't do any of that. They just took a lineup and she picked him out, and they kind of said, well, this is the local guy that caused a lot of trouble. She picked him out. They went and arrested him. That seems that seems wild to me in 2025. What do you think, Nina?
Yeah, because didn't you say that the Allen guy is the one that they found the pubic hair?
Yeah, later on they found the pubic hair
Right,
because DNA wasn't around back then. So
right.
later on they retested it, and that's when they found the pubic hair to be linked to Mr. Allen.
And was the Allen guy local or was he a pastor through?
He was a local. He was kind of like a transient person.
Okay, okay.
But I mean, I know they probably did a lot more investigation, but it just seemed for theatrical purposes, a lineup, that's the one. Let's go bust in his door and arrest him.
Right.
That would suck. That
Yeah.
would suck to be in that process, right?
Oh, yeah.
That look Nina looks like the one who broke into my house last week. Okay, can you can you pick her out of a lineup? This is her right here. And it's you?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty effed up.
I mean, I don't think that's how things go now, but in 1985, it seemed like that's how things went down. And boy, if somebody picked you out of a lineup, you were screwed.
That's true. That is absolutely true.
Hopefully, but that still wasn't enough, Nina.
But now let's wait because she said you have to scrutinize it, so there must be something wrong with it.
Okay, what do you think was wrong with the receipt? She said it's a red flag to most of the alibis. I mean, I get that. I really do get that. But at the same time, if that's all you have around you, are you going to make stuff up to really be like, well, I was with my family at a cookout and they're all saying I was here, but you're saying that just the fact that they're vouching for me is not good enough in your eyes?
Yeah, and I do sort of disagree with that because I've had my own run-ins with the law when I was doing what I did in my days.
Mm-hmm.
And, just because you have a run-in with the law doesn't mean you're going to lie to protect a rapist.
Right, right. No, I tell you, this whole case is wild, Nina. God. Nina,
Gage, why was he in jail to begin with?
he was in
I thought
jail.
she had I thought she had already identified him.
She did, but they wanted to do a physical lineup rather than the photo. So she picked him out a second time. Can you imagine being that guy? That's why it's always best to keep yourself clean cut because the dirtier, shaggier you look like everybody else in the world, right? I mean,
If
he
he
does.
could.
He ends up looking like a lot like the perpetrator. He really does. I mean, but there was some minute discrepancies when it's actually found out. But I mean, can you imagine being put in jail because you're accused of raping somebody and you weren't even in the area? Texas says, yeah, but Penny was wrong. Need new glasses or something. This case was portrayed on Netflix in 2015. The actual crime happened in 1985. So he was sent to prison on a wrongful conviction. The guy that they tested later on when DNA came about, they found out was already in prison for another sexual assault. So the Avery was released. He filed a wrongful lawsuit against the sheriff and the county for $36 million. While he was awaiting his lawsuit, a photographer comes out to his salvage yard to take photographs of a van that he's selling on Auto Trader. So she goes missing that day. She's later found. Her remains are found in a burn pile. Her vehicle's found on his salvage yard, covered by branches. And he's rearrested for the rape and murder. His nephew kind of is coerced to testify as well. He's arrested. And it's been a back and forth since about 2013. Yeah, this was before Teresa Halbach was murdered. This was when he first went to prison. And I think I'm going to stop about right here. That way, people that haven't seen Making a Murderer can kind of go back and do some research on it. So tomorrow, if y'all'd like to join me, and if Dina wants to come back up on panel while we're doing this case, she's more than welcome to. I know she had to step away to.
Sorry about that. I just flooded my bathroom.
I just saw that. What'd you do? We're up that toilet, boy. Boy.
Oh my gosh, I cleaned up some dog poo and tried to flush it.
I've done that before. Done that before.
You know, you always blame the dogs.
Of course.
It's
But
never
Nina,
the perpetrator.
maybe tomorrow, if you don't have anything going on, we can continue talking about this. I mean,
Yes.
I don't want to rush through this case. I think it'll take a little bit, but
Well,
I'd
I'm
like to.
actually going to get ready for my live because I'm actually doing a Coburger live.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I say a Coburger live. It's not, well, it's actually about inverters, enzyme cleaners, steamers, and drill brushes.
Well, if you get bored and you want to start deep diving into this case,
I'm
have
going to do
at
that after my live.
it. I mean, this case has lot of twists and turns. And I'm open to changing my opinion, but I believe that, they're both not guilty, but I'm open to change my opinion if we found out something different.
Well, I mean,
But
that's how we both are. I mean, I
yeah,
mean, it even now, I mean, not to bring up that case that we don't talk about, but even now, even though he's confessed, if somebody put something solid out there that said that he was, you know, forced into it or something that was credible and all that, I mean, let's just make sure we got the right people. That's all I want to do.
of course.
And I
And
believe
that's
we have the right person in Coburger.
I do too. But I wanted to show this case to show people that I'm not one sided.
Right, exactly. And I do appreciate that.
Because this case has so many twists and turns. I believe he's innocent. I could be wrong. But they fought tooth and nail to keep him in prison and his nephew. So
Right.
I think it's interesting to really learn more about this case because I believe that it'll teach a lot of people exactly what they have seen in other cases and how their bias is formed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about it, the only way that you can have credibility and integrity is to research the case and not make it about your narrative, and I think that's what we do.
Of course, I believe that too. I believe that too. Well, you have a good live, Nina. I'm gonna head to bed tomorrow, Monday, and I got a big week. I'm on call next week, so I never sleep well anyway. So
Well,
yeah.
if you can't sleep and you want to come on, just let me know.
All right. Have a good live, Nina. Thank you, and be
All right.
looking out. I'd like for you to follow with me on this case. I think
Yeah.
you'd do a really good job
Yeah,
on
I'm
it.
gonna do a deep dive as soon as I get finished with my live. I already got it. I already got everything uploaded, done the research and everything. But the inverters has been a big question for people. Why would he buy inverters?
Yeah.
And I'm going to explain my theory of why he bought inverters.
All righty. Well, everybody else, if you're looking for a different case to follow that is, just as intriguing or more than the Idaho 4 case, come on in and let's chat about this case. Like I said, I believe he's innocent. So Nina said he's guilty, so we're gonna go down that rabbit hole that's been gone down multitude of times, but we're gonna do it totally different as we do it here on 12 Gauge Investigative and how Nina does it on her channel, Warning Label Nina. So y'all come follow us and see where we can go on this case and see how it ends up. It's still on Netflix, so if you have Netflix and you want to binge watch something, go watch Making a Murderer on Netflix. That way
Well,
you
that's
have
going to be my first stop.
that way you have some understanding as to how it all went down. Some of the things that maybe you looked at the first time, you might have a different take on it. So thank you so much, Nina, for being up here. Y'all go support Nina as she's going live. And I will see you tomorrow, Nina. Have a good
All
night.
right, I'll be there.
All right. For the rest of you, thank you so much for being here for my channel and supporting me through your kind word, thoughts, and attributes. Hopefully this case will help you guys get over the other case because, we got to move on. We got to move on. Y'all have a wonderful night. Maestro, cue that music.
Ready, set, go! Gage Investigative, the best true crime channel out there.
I'm a true crime channel.
12 Gauge Investigators is the best. 12 Gauge Investigators is the best.
12 Gauge Investigators, he's the best.
Prince George's County 911 Center. What is the location of the emergency?
Across 4709 40th Avenue.
You say
it's a fire, and it's catching fast.
4709?
Yeah, 4709.
Okay, what city is that, ma'am?
Hyattsville, sorry.
And what's your name?
Take on the darkness, stare down deceit. Murder in the headlines, justice in the beat. From cold case whispers to killers in disguise, we rip off the mask, expose all the lies. Facts like bullets reload and deliver. Truth cuts deep like a blade in a river. Corruption shakes when the mic goes live. We dig where others won't survive. James rolling through the smoke. Truth hits hard, no time for a joke. To see murder, we name every name. No restraint, no shame, just flesh.
12 Gauge Investigator is the best.
When you're in Foley, come get your hair cut where 12 gets his at Nick's Barbershop. 12 Gauge is the best. We love you.
12 Gauge Investigative is the best.